Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I have to take you guys for a walk with me to the gym. Let me know if you can hear me. So I might have to take out my earpiece. I'm not sure. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I'm gonna give it a few more seconds so more people could come on. Okay, that's enough time. All right, we'll wait for them to pass. I should probably pull over somewhere quiet. Okay, good morning, good morning. Yeah, I'm already jumping to the afternoon. All right, my name is Kimberly McLaurin, also known as Nuke, shop steward, executive board rep, member of Progressive Action. All right, so first, I would like to extend my condolences and prayers to the family of train operator Kevin White, who passed Friday, I believe it was. Really great guy. He broke me in as a train operator. He's part of the Lennox family. I also worked with him on the one line. It's just very, very tragic. He was very young. Like I said, I just want to extend my condolences. We're losing a lot of people down here. So this video is basically to address what I'm starting to hear buzzing around the reasonable accommodation. So recently, we just found out, it's on the TW Local 100 website, and also I guess some circulating posts from the RTO VP, that RTO just gained 4 spaces for reasonable accommodations for pregnant women. This is, no matter how you feel about the administration, this is actually a good step in the right direction. And I mean a step. This is not it. This is not where we need to stop. It's just a shame that it took so long for the TA to come around to this concept. So here's a misconception. Number 1, reasonable accommodations is a broad headline for disabilities as a whole. It doesn't just apply to pregnant women. So there's slightly different rules that apply to pregnant women. Number 1, when you have reasonable accommodations, it pretty much applies to any company that has more than 4 employees. And as you can guess, the TA is one of those companies. Reasonable accommodation normally counts as giving more access to breaks, water, wheelchair ramp, certain type of seating, air circulation. It can apply to a number of things. Now, when it applies to pregnancy, it would be something similar. You want to make sure the woman has access to the bathroom. You want to make sure she has sufficient amount of breaks. You want to make sure that she's not on her feet. There are different accommodations made for different people. There isn't a one-size-fit-all type of accommodation, just like all pregnancies aren't the same. Here, I can be pregnant, but I don't mind walking long distances. I don't mind standing, but I might have to use the bathroom more often than another woman. So each person has to be accommodated differently. So here's the misconception, that you do not have to supply doctor's lines to the TA. That is not true. Whereas you do not have to tell the TA that you're pregnant, you do have to Well, they are allowed, the TA is allowed to ask you for doctor's lines. And those doctor's lines will go to the tune of describing what type of accommodations you would need. For instance, if you are a woman who cannot stand long, your doctor would note that you cannot stand long, or you have, what do you call it? Incontinence, is that what it's called? When you have a weak bladder and you have to go to the bathroom more often. And it would be something like that, that the TA will have to look at those conditions and accommodate based on you and you alone. So, excuse me. So there's, like I said, there's no one size fit all. Just like, here's a prime example, ADA again. If you have someone come on your bus or your train and they have a service animal, you are not allowed to ask them what their disability is. That's the same thing about not asking the person whether or not they're pregnant. However, you are allowed to ask what services that animal performs. Oh, this animal access my eyes. This animal gives indications when I'm about to have a seizure, or whichever. That's the same thing. No, you do not have to tell them that you're pregnant. I mean, you don't have to supply proof that you're pregnant, but you do have to supply evidence of your medical condition and how you need to be accommodated. Okay. Yeah, got me a little checklist. Hold on 1 second. Oh, because there was a few things. Oh, okay. So this is the argument of the MTA. This is why they got away with not supplying pregnant women with light duty. Light duty would be within the parameters of your job. And if you are in RTO, because RTO seems to be the department that's struggling a lot with finding light duty positions, you're supposed to still be working within the parameters of your job. But if you're telling the TA, hey, I cannot climb up on the train, hey, I cannot be underground for this amount of time, hey, I have respiratory issues and it's bothering me more because I'm pregnant, this is what gave them the ability or the gall to, because it's crazy, but this is what they were, this is how they justified not supplying light duty and putting you out as no work assigned, because you weren't able to operate that train, operate those doors, stand on that platform, or whatever. So that's what their route was. So this is not as much as a legal issue, but, or like they weren't breaking the law, but what we're trying to do is appeal to their humanity. That's why progressive action, as well as other people, have been more so attacking their character, attacking their morality and their humanity. That's why we go on public forums and expose the treatment of pregnant women down here. We want to embarrass them into doing the right thing. So where they don't have a legal obligation to give you a job, we know they have the financial means, and we know they have these jobs available because they offer it to other people. So that's the difference. So no, they're not breaking any laws, but they're not governing in a humane way. Okay, Nicole says not breaking the law, but they're not accommodating you at all either. Here's another thing. When on the Zoom meeting last week with Sarah Feinberg, she stated that the MTA only received 5 requests for reasonable accommodation. Here is where we have to do our part. Now, RTO struggles with finding light duty for our pregnant women. Other departments have a little bit more leeway. For instance, CED, some bus depots, track, MOW, let me say MOW, they're able to accommodate their women in-house. However, that doesn't help the numbers. We need all cases of accommodation documented. When you document these cases, there shows a need. We need more than just 5 women asking for accommodation. Because she used the number 5 and noticed that RTO received 4 positions. So imagine if she had 10, then maybe there would have been 9 positions. Also, speaking on accommodations, we need to get out of this mindset that accommodations only come in your 3rd trimester or your 4th trimester. Excuse me, your 4th trimester, your 3rd trimester. It doesn't. Some people need accommodations in their 1st trimester. Some people have issues with their back 1st trimester. Some people have issues with really bad morning sickness and they need access to a bathroom in their 1st trimester. Pregnancy is not something that you can always see or just diagnose straight across the board. Like I told you before, each pregnancy is different. So with these 4 new positions, like I said, it's a step in the right direction, but we do need more, especially being that we don't have sufficient maternity leave. 2 weeks is not enough, and they don't want to pay us enough where we can survive or have enough savings to not work. And what the TA was claiming when I said that they were saying that they weren't able to accommodate us because we're no longer working our title, that falls under this quotation that you will find in the labor law, which would be undue hardship. Because that is the condition in which an employer doesn't have to provide reasonable accommodation. Because if an employer said, oh, this is going to put me out, I'm going to have to spend more money to make a position, they don't have to create a position for you. However, the TA, multi-billion-dollar corporation, have these positions. We know they have these positions. But also keep in mind, and people like to skate over this fact, we are a minority workforce. Majority of the women that work down here are women of color. We only have 1% Caucasian women in the NYCT. And if you think that does not affect accommodations, then you're wrong, because it does. I'm going to check and see what people are saying. Oh, while I have you guys' attention, if you heard about Church Avenue, please inquire about Church Avenue. It was said that an MOW employee had tested positive for coronavirus and that they had cleared out the MOW workers, but no RTO employees were notified. Inquire, ask questions. Please ask questions. Because we know how they do RTO. They really don't want to tell you that you've been exposed to COVID. I'm gonna check some of these comments out. Look like I'm having a private conversation down there. I'll check it out at the end. I'm almost at my destination. Let me see if I covered everything. Alrighty. Oh, again, another thing. There's a form for reasonable accommodation. Why that form is not available at terminals? It needs to be available at each terminal, just like we have our sick forms, our other than sick forms, our RDO swaps. All of those forms need to be available. There should be no reason people have to look all over the world for reasonable accommodation slips. I will be going to certain terminals to find out whether or not they have them available to the rank and file, and I am at my destination. I will be talking to you guys later. Any questions, post them below or DM me. Once again, Kimberly McLaurin, Nuke, Aggressive Action. Have a good day. Be safe.